call the roll, please?
Awesome.
Here.
Eichelkraut.
Here.
Les.
Here.
Baxter.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
We have 5 present.
Would you all stand, please, and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Moved by Commissioner Baxter that the minutes of a regular meeting of the Council of the City of Ottawa, Illinois, held on Tuesday, April 15, 2014, and the minutes of special meetings held on Thursday, April 17th, and Wednesday, April 30th, 2014, all be approved and recorded in the permanent files of the City Clerk.
Is there a second to the motion? Les? Any discussion, suggested changes or corrections? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Is there anyone wishing to appear before the council tonight? Peggy?
We put the microphone down.
for you.
Thanks.
You want me to
There you go.
grow? Can you hear me? Okay. Peggy Schneider, south side of Ottawa. When you gentlemen take up the issue of the yard waste fees tonight, I'd like you to consider, is Ottawa ready for a $2 tax? Your proposed surcharge for lawn waste removal is a stiff increase for taxpayers who don't get a choice in the matter. If you were considering generating funds for road improvements or other services, you'd ask us to vote on it. I think residents should know and understand the options available and determine if they want to pay more, revamp what we have, or try something altogether different. If you approve the issue tonight, the surcharge will appear on water bills every month, forever, or until you, and only you, choose to remove it. Until now, our lawn waste removal was provided under the taxes we already pay. We've watched it morph through the years from leaf burning to neighborhood collection to a 24-hour dumpster drop site. As I understand it, the costs keep escalating. Yet the changes to date have been made by the Commissioner and the Council. The public hasn't really been a part of the changes, but surely we deserve a say before we're charged extra for the service. I'd like the Council to be more diligent in seeking public input on the issue. While $2 a month may not seem like much to you, for some residents it will be a sizable increase, one that'll probably surprise many when it shows up on their water bills. One that they'll expect to pay whether they have a lawn or whether they dispose of the lawn waste through the city system. You're taxing many residents for a service they might never use. And while it might be true that taxes are not always determined by use, such as schools, taxpayers do get a say in those increases. In spite of the fact that this surcharge will generate a tidy bit of revenue, I hadn't seen much on it in the press, so I met with Commissioner Baxter. I learned a lot. He's done a commendable and thorough job researching the lawn waste issue and seeing how other cities do it. He's made changes with the best intentions possible, and he believes he has a good solution. With everything he's learned, though, he could have led a great discussion on the topic. But residents haven't heard the options and haven't benefited from his research. They don't get a choice in whether to pay more. All this comes during the city's beautification efforts when more public landscaping must be maintained and residents are being encouraged to join in and create more yard waste. Yet now you're proposing to tax us for the privilege of beautifying our city. There are options. We as citizens should determine whether they're right for us. It's a small matter to ask residents which they prefer and what they're willing to pay for. In the past couple of years, you've held public forums inviting people to chime in on riverfront development, Riverfest, and other issues. Why not this one? Can you reach out for public opinion before you reach into our pockets for $180,000? Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Would anyone else like to address the council? Paulette?
Good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight on something that I have followed protocol with the proper channels to no avail. So just to let you know that this is my attempt to seek some improvement or change. I am present this evening because I am perplexed at the lack of privacy involved in preserving citizen confidentiality by law enforcement at the police station. Case in point, On one visit to the Ottawa Police Station, I was in the waiting room when an issue with a domestic case arose. It became necessary for an attorney to be contacted. I believe that attorney should have been immediately buzzed in to the back room to conduct his business on behalf of his client. However, the attorney announced his name and for what and whom he was there. Also, when a citizen goes into the police station, they verbally are expected to announce their name and purpose of their visit, sometimes in a waiting room of other citizens. An officer comes to the lobby with a small pad that looks like this, and in essence asks the party basic information and proceeds to write on his pad. I don't know about you, but I would be surprised if an incident or even a life stressor is as small as this small pad. Not often does an officer invite or escort a citizen to a back room just to meet with them face-to-face in privacy. Or at no time in the conversation does the officer indicate that what the citizen is reporting may not meet criminal criteria for the police to intervene or write up a report. I personally believe a citizen has a right to know, as there are other occasions that officers are called in from the street patrol, and a citizen has to wait sometimes an hour. Unless a citizen asks the officer if they are able to log that incident, a citizen would not know if they could or should, and or even how it can help them should future incidents arise. I believe it would be more professional and preserve the privacy, if not the safety, of a citizen presenting themselves at the police station if they were kindly asked to fill out a form with pertinent information of their name, address, phone number, and a brief description of the nature of their visit. Perhaps the telecommunicators could also show an officer, and if it doesn't meet criminal criteria for police intervention, the citizen is advised and suggested to return if the situation changes. If the police can log this visit, the citizen should be informed of this courtesy as well. I believe this process may be more productive and effective for our officers and more citizen-friendly and customer service-oriented. In addition, the paper records of the citizens could perhaps be attached to a police report should one be necessary to ensure the citizen and police are on the same page. Amending a police report is not a citizen-friendly process, and response to this request varies with police departments. When other government agencies and corporations are improving customer service, providing written policies as to their rights, educating them on the procedures pre and post a transaction, so too should the police be coming of age in the same aspect. Actress Marlo Thomas recently reported that her father died of a sudden heart attack in 1979, much to the surprise of their family. Even back then, because of privacy rights, none of the family members could accompany her father to his medical appointments. Marlo said that has all changed now. She indicated that another member of the family will go with their loved one to a doctor's appointment so they can police the administration and maintenance of their health care. Other than the mayor, I am not aware who polices our police to ensure citizen safety and privacy is preserved. We all know the mayor has a whole city to run, as I would expect that if consumers were better educated on the process when in need of law enforcement and how to protect themselves, there would be a better check and balance system for all parties concerned. Even though what I have presented here tonight may be a possible void in safety, it does not reflect the tremendous job our mayor is doing in beautifying our city and making it a pleasant environment in which to live and work to the best of his ability. He has garnered a network of volunteers who stand united to achieve the goal at hand. On the other hand, I believe he has empowered the police to serve the public as they would like to be treated themselves and or their family members. That said, I do not believe they are maintaining a standard akin to that which the mayor operates Ottawa. Though the police report to higher levels of administration. I believe augmenting this reporting system with peer-to-peer oversight may be an option to ensure safety and security for citizens. As many of you have read, the recent interception of a party on the bridge by police saved their life. While I commend the police for successfully saving this life, I wonder what the police are doing proactively to keep any citizen from reaching such a low point. We as a community need to take some responsibility. Again, what may have been going on with this party most likely may have been beyond what is contained in this small pad of paper. All I'm asking tonight is that some of these concerns be reviewed for possible improvement and bridge some gaps. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulette. Appreciate your comments. Anybody else have anything for the council tonight? Okay, we'll move into the regular agenda.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the biweekly salary payroll of April 25th, 2014 in the amount of $325,448.25 be approved and warrants issued.
Is there a second? Commissioner Baxter, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that the monthly expense report of May 6, 2014, showing expenses in the amount of $120,077.24 be approved and warrants issued.
Is there a second? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Eichelkraut that a resolution authorizing the execution of a customer service agreement between the City of Ottawa and Call One Incorporated be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, these 6 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 8 lines, or these 8 phone lines here, are phones lines that aren't iFiber. We have to keep some that aren't iFiber for certain things at the police station and at the Parks Department where we don't have the iFiber existing right at the present time.
Any other comments or questions? Motion to place it on file. Roll call, please.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Anything else, Commissioner Eichelkraut?
No, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Awesome.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that the change order number 1 from Steve Spice Construction Company in the decreased amount of $205,827.50 for the Ottawa Industrial Park Unit 2 project be accepted.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that a resolution authorizing the execution of sewer connection agreements between the City of Ottawa and multiple residential property owners on the west side be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Baxter, any discussion?
Yeah, this will be 12 more homes on that long-term plan to clean up the CSOs, so heading in the right direction.
Okay, anything else? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that a resolution authorizing the execution of a temporary construction easement agreement with George Ann Granatus regarding a sanitary sewer line be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract agreement between the City of Ottawa and McClure Engineering Associates Incorporated regarding the wastewater treatment plant pipe culverts in the lagoons be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract agreement between the City of Ottawa and Aqua Backflow regarding a fats, oil, and grease program be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion?
Yeah, this is a company we have a current agreement with that does inspections for our water system. And we found out that they also can inspect for the fats and grease that we had the issues with the restaurants, and so they will take on that inspection duty also, so.
Okay. Any other comments? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that a resolution authorizing the execution of an engineering consulting agreement between the City of Ottawa and Eshai Dutlinger and Associates Incorporated be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Awesome that the quote from Grand Rapids Enterprises Incorporated in the amount of $8,500 for the water main replacement project on Post Street over Goose Creek be accepted and paid for from the water fund.
Is there a second? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Anything else for the council, Commissioner Awesome?
No, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Less?
We have the report of the fire chief for the month of April. Number of bell alarms 2, number of still alarms 14, activated alarms 5, number of medic calls 217, number of transfers 53, total number of patients 230. Total calls for April was 291. Property loss was at $650, contents loss $100, vehicle loss $6,000, total loss for April $6,750. Total on residents billed for medical services was 59. Moved by Commissioner Less that the report of Fire Chief Jeffrey A. Newberry for the month of April 2014 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Baxter, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Less that a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Ottawa and the Village of Naplate regarding emergency medical services be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Awesome, any discussion? Briefly describe what this is.
Basically, this is an agreement to provide EMS and EMT services to Naplate. Currently, we do not have any type of intergovernmental agreement with them. Recently, in the last 6 months of the last year, we came in cooperation with the Wallace Fire Protection District to provide EMS and EMT services with them. And now we're just going ahead to go ahead and more or less have an agreement with Naplate to provide those services.
Any other comments?
I have some
Commissioner
comments.
Baxter?
I'd like to give some background on the agreement. We have been talking, as Commissioner Les points out, we've been talking a long time with Wallace Fire Protection District, and now we've moved on to Naplate, and those conversations have gone on for a matter of months. And during that time, these numbers have been given to us by staff that have worked them up. And the number is that the total cost to operate the Ottawa Fire Department is $3.6 million and change. Now, when we were talking with Naplate about extending our service to them, they don't need the fire section of it because they have their own fire department. We're talking about the emergency medical service. So you have to adjust that number in some way. And so after some thought putting into it, one of them being that 85% of the Ottawa Fire Department's calls are medical, and subtracting that amount and also subtracting the amount that we receive for ambulance fees collected, it comes out to a general number that it costs Ottawa $2.2 million to operate our emergency medical service only. Now, there's various ways you can determine what price would be fair to ask another entity to use that service. The way I think is fair is a per-person cost, which you can easily figure out. I'm in agreement that governments, whenever possible, should share in the cost of services which each of our citizens need. I'm in agreement with helping out our neighbors of Naplate with such an important service as emergency medical care. What I disagree with is this very low amount of money Naplate would pay in this proposed agreement to have their emergency medical care be covered by our fire department paramedics. Ottawa residents currently pay $117 per person per year to be covered by our emergency medical system. Simply divide $2.2 million by 18,768 people, and that's what you get. So every man, woman, and child in Ottawa pays $117 per year to be covered by that service, whether they have need of that service or not. And like all medical, emergency services, police, fire, or medical, you hope you never have need of them because it's a bad thing. But you still pay that like an insurance policy, because if you do, you want them there and available and to come to you as soon as possible to help you out. So as for one person in Ottawa that pays that, I'm very happy to pay that, to know that that emergency medical service is there and ready to respond to my home and my loved ones. At $8,000 per year, which is the proposed amount for Nate Plate, and a population of 493 people, Nate Plate residents would pay only $16 per person per year, an amount 7 times less, more than 7 times less than an Ottawa resident currently pays. Yet residents of each city would receive the identical service, the same equipment, the same training, the same personnel, and the same response time. That I don't agree with. I don't see how any member of this council can look an Ottawa resident in the eye and tell them they should pay 7 times more for the same service that is proposed to be given to Nate Plate. I am in favor of an agreement with Nate Plate, but only if that dollar amount of their contribution is on a par with what we are currently taxing Ottawa residents. That's my comments.
Anything else?
Well, I'd just like to point out, aren't we already doing the EMT service to Nate Plate?
Yes, we are, and currently we're providing it at no cost.
And we've been doing it for several years.
That's correct.
And the history of that is that we used to purchase emergency medical equipment by donations many decades ago. And because some of those donations came from outside of Ottawa residents and businesses, many decades ago, the practice was to go outside the city service because they made donations to that service. That practice has stopped many, many, many years ago. Emergency medical equipment and all the costs of the fire department are now paid by taxes by Ottawa people. Many years ago, we probably should have approached this concern and dealt with it then. But quite frankly, I personally was only aware that this was possible when Chief Newberry pointed it out to us when he was appointed, that fire protection districts such as Wallace or other districts such as Nate Plate are by law required to provide that service for their residents. And if they get it from some other entity such as Ottawa, they can then negotiate a payment for that service, oftentimes a payment less than creating their own department and paying it themselves. That's why, although we've been doing that for many, many, many years, that's how it started, and that's how we have to transfer to some other way, because $3.6 million to run the Ottawa Fire Department is a lot of money. That's a big burden on the Ottawa residents. And although I think it's more than good to share services, that's what government agencies should do when they can, so I'm not opposed to the idea, but I can't understand how somebody from Nate Plate should pay $22 a year for something an Ottawa resident has to pay $117 a year for.
Anyone else? I'd just make a couple comments. I don't necessarily disagree with what Dale's saying, although that's based upon a lot of assumptions. And for example, if the city of Ottawa gets out of the medic business tomorrow, it doesn't cut the cost of providing services by $2.2 million, because we have a lot of fixed costs, whether we have medic services or not, because we got a fire department and a building and personnel and training and everything else. I think we're moving in the right direction. Maybe we're starting with baby steps. We started out with the Wallace Fire Protection District. We ended up with an agreement that roughly starts at about $100,000 a year. This one starts at $8,000, goes up to $10,000 a year on the 5th year. Maybe we were too good to Wallace, but what we did was we kind of looked at what their arrangement was and then tried to apply the same thing to Nate Plate. We looked at their assessed valuation compared to Nate Plate's. We looked at the number of calls we get out in the Wallace Fire Protection District versus Nate Plate. And I think that's kind of how the numbers came about. Without these agreements, I mean, we're bringing in roughly $550,000, $560,000 over the next 5 years. That's $500,000 we wouldn't otherwise have. And these people also will be paying for the service, just like city residents do. If you do call and need an ambulance, any resident of Nate Plate will pay the same fee that a resident of Ottawa or the Wallace Fire Protection District do. So I think it may be baby steps. It's a step in the right direction, I think. And I think it's roughly consistent with what we did in connection with the Wallace Fire Protection District. Probably the next thing to do is look where else we should be doing these. We don't necessarily have fire protection districts to the south of the city, but if residents who live outside the city want to take advantage of our emergency medical services, we should probably be looking at some way to provide that service at a charge, an annual fee. But I guess those are my comments. Anyone else?
Yeah, my only reply, and then I'll shut up. I don't disagree with what you said. Although, when we began discussions with Wallace, the first initial number we mentioned as a city to them was $50,000. And then when we started having meetings and talked about that number, I objected to that number thinking it was too low. And we had a variety of meetings over a period of weeks and months with Wallace and with our members here. And naturally, the other side of the table, Wallace wanted it as low as possible, just as Naplate does. Eventually, that number was raised to approximately $100,000 a year for a 5-year agreement. Even that, I think, is too low, because there's no way in the world Wallace could provide the service they're getting from Ottawa for $100,000. You can't have a full-time 24/7 department trained to a paramedic status with the equipment we have for $100,000. You can't even buy a first aid rig for that. You can develop a volunteer service or a paid-on-call service, which some have, and it has its own difficulties. But at least in those discussions, we raised our initial offer to $100,000, which I voted for, and probably regret now. Because the problem with it is, and the same problem we have if we agree with this low number with Naplate, 5 years hence, first of all, it's going to run for 5 years, so they're underpaying for 5 years. Our costs are going to go up. And 5 years hence, they will argue that if we agree to this amount for 5 years, all they're going to want to increase it is maybe the cost of living or some nominal sum. It's going to be very difficult once you have the initial agreement to go back to them and say, hey, maybe we were too nice to you and too generous to you 5 years ago. We'd like to double it or triple it. That's going to be an extremely hard task to do. So I think the best way to approach it is to put a price on it that's actually a fair price. $8,000 doesn't even buy one defibrillator that's on the ambulance, let alone the ambulance or the personnel or all the other equipment that's in there. If you ask yourself, how much do I pay for fire insurance or home insurance? How much do I pay for auto insurance? It's far more than $117 a year. Yet whether your house catches on fire or whether you have an accident, you still pay that because you know if you need it, it needs to be there. So I would ask everybody in Ottawa, is it worth $117 a year for you to know a fully trained paramedic staffed ambulance will arrive at your doorstep within minutes, 24/7? And I would have to think that almost everybody would say yes. And I would ask that same question in Naplate. Is it worth $117 to your resident to know that same thing is there? Of course, if they would only pay $22, they'd much rather have it for $22, kind of like yard waste. If you could have it for $0, I'd prefer to have it for $0 rather than $2 a month. But is it truly asking too much to have them pay the same amount as Ottawa, $117 a year, to know that's available? For $8,000, what could they possibly buy that's anywhere near that? If I was Naplate, I'd love us to agree with this agreement. But if I represent Ottawa, which I do, I don't see how that's a bargain for Ottawa.
Any other comments?
Well, just to be clear, Dale, if we didn't pass this, would you be in favor of, if there was a call outside the city limits, to not send emergency medical?
Yes, after long discussions where we talked to other entities and explained to them what we were offering them for an agreed-upon price, they have an option, either accept that or go some other option they have, create their own department, tie on to some other volunteer department, all of which have their pros and cons and their costs. But I cannot tell an Ottawa resident that they should bear the lion's share of a department, yet give that service to somebody outside of Ottawa that doesn't pay property taxes to Ottawa. They should get that service for 7 times less than them. I can't understand how that makes sense. And yes, when it came down to it, If it came down to where we couldn't reach an agreement, then I would say X number of days you have, and then you have to find your own service. We don't send ambulance service, if an Ottawa resident's in Peru, or Aurora, or Grand Ridge, they don't expect the Ottawa ambulance to go there. They rely on the service that's provided for that town and where they're visiting.
And that was my point. If an Ottawa resident happens to be in Naplate, and we're paying that $117, you're saying you would just soon not have that ambulance go?
Well, I'll answer your question with a question. If that Ottawa resident was in Chicago, would you expect our ambulance to go to Chicago?
No, I wouldn't.
Then there's no reason to expect.
But our ambulances are already going to Naplate today, and I'm asking, you're going to stop them from going west of city limits and run the risk of an Ottawa resident needing medical services and us not going there because of this issue between who pays what from which village and which city?
Okay, I'll answer your question directly and simply. My answer is yes. With due warning, I would. Now I'll ask you a question. If Naplate says, you've been giving us this service for nothing for many years, we're not going to pay you anything, would you continue to send the ambulance there when they paid us nothing?
I would defer to the commissioner in charge. And I don't think they've ever threatened that. But my point is, we've been covering the area for a long, long time, and we haven't gone in and researched whether or not they were Naplate residents, Chicago residents, Peru, or Ottawa residents. And I understand and I somewhat agree with your argument on the pay, but we were getting nothing for a long time, even while you were the commissioner. And now, all of a sudden, we're to an agreement where we can get the ball rolling, we start to get something, and hopefully have better data to look at who we're picking up and down the road try to increase the fee.
As the mayor stated, preliminary, this is baby steps. This agreement has never been in place before. I think the importance is, again, with the precedents that we set with Wallace Fire Protection, is to have these agreements in place so we don't get into a situation and we have to answer those difficult questions. Do we cut them off for service and to not provide the EMT or the EMS services to that community because they're not paying? With the establishment of the agreement in place, it clearly states that we will provide that service for a fee to that community. And currently, this agreement is going to be for 5 years. And in the next 5 years, whether it's this city council or the next council, they can revisit that agreement and see if the numbers needed to be changed. And at the same time, Naplate has the option to no longer continue that services and provide the services for themselves or seek alternative methods. But the importance is the precedence of getting the agreement in, so everybody knows whose responsibilities are which on both sides of the communities. And again, as Bob said, taking baby steps to get it established and evaluate it from there.
Wish I hadn't used the term baby steps, but. Any other thing? Any other comment? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Nay.
Mayor.
Aye. You have anything else for the council, Commissioner Less?
No, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Baxter.
Moved by Commissioner Baxter that an ordinance amending Chapter 82, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottawa, LaSalle County, Illinois, regarding the monthly service charge of $2 per month for yard refuse be passed and approved.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Sure. Awesome. Any discussion?
I'll discuss, I'll give a little history on it, because as Peggy points out, maybe everybody in Ottawa doesn't know as much about this as I do, but I would love if they would. Ottawa used to collect, well, first of all, Ottawa, prior to me being on the council, passed the no-burn ordinance, which I think most people in Ottawa agree with, and I do too, and therefore they had to come up with some solution to what to do with yard waste. When I became the street commissioner, what I inherited was a system where on certain Saturdays, we would have 2 city employees and 2 paid Thrush sanitation employees, and using their equipment, collect yard waste on Saturdays from 8 to 4. And there'd usually be 2 or 3 Saturdays in the spring and 2 or 3 Saturdays in the fall. And that system worked to a degree, but there was problems with it. One problem was that no matter how many Saturdays we had, once they were finished, even though they were highly publicized, we would get dozens of calls at City Hall saying, when's the next yard waste drop-off? They want another Saturday, another Saturday. And the problem with that is we were paying overtime for people and equipment rental, where to dispose of that yard waste was costing us $50 a cubic yard. And in the most recent year we did that, we collected 400 cubic yards, paid $20,000 for those several Saturdays we did it, and it came out to $50 a cubic yard. It struck me that that was a highly inefficient and high overhead way of collecting it because you're paying a lot of people that way. I started looking into how other cities worked, and there's a variety of ways they do work. But one of the least expensive and most convenient was what we're doing presently, and we're now starting our third year of doing that, our second complete year and our third year. And that involves having it open as we are, 8 months out of the year, and 24/7, and people can bring it down to us whenever it's convenient. One of the problems with Saturdays was that sometimes people work Saturday, they're gone, and if they missed that Saturday, they couldn't do it. This way, no matter what your work schedule is, no matter when you do your yard work, no matter how often you do it, you can always bring it down. When we started this, it was uncertain exactly what the cost would be. My estimate was it would be about the same cost, $20,000 a year, maybe a little more as we did it before. As it turned out, cost-wise per cubic yard, it was a tremendous success. It cost us approximately $10 a cubic yard now, primarily because we saved the labor. You, the citizens, are bringing it down to us instead of us standing there. So I don't have to pay people time and a half to collect it. You bring it to us. And that's primarily the savings. That's how we reduce it from $50 to $10 a yard. The bad part, if you want to say that, is it's been tremendously successful and popular. Hundreds of people, no exaggeration, have complimented me and other members of the council saying it was a great idea. They loved it. They loved doing it. And as a result of that, the volume increased tremendously. It 5-6 times as much. So we went from 400 cubic yards doing it the Saturdays to 13,380 cubic yards last year. You can see the tremendous increase. However, we're paying only $10.86 a cubic yard. So the cost per yard was 5 times less, but the volume was tremendously more. So it's very popular and very well received, and I often wonder what people did with their yard waste prior to this, but they certainly bring it here. So the question came down, we started that program kind of guessing what the cost was and absorbing that cost into our city budget. But the cost of doing that last year, just disposing of the yard waste, was $145,000 versus $20 the other way. And that doesn't include buying equipment that's needed for it, repairing the equipment that's needed for it, gasoline needed to do it, and the hours the personnel still have to go out to actually do the leaf vacuum that we do in the fall. So it's actually more than $145,000 for the total cost. So I didn't feel, and shared with my council members, that I didn't see how in this economic time the city could continue to absorb that almost $200,000 in total cost and continue it and just absorb it into our regular collection, that we either have options of either stopping the program completely or imposing some fee to help substantiate the cost of that. And there's different ways that could be done. The simplest, easiest, and least expensive was this proposed way of continuing how we're doing it now, but somehow putting a small surcharge so we can collect some money to fund it. And so the idea was come up with charging $2 on the water bill, which means we don't have to have a special billing and special postage. It's included on the water bill, although it's not a water charge. And at $2 a month, it's still a very good economic way of disposing of yard waste for an individual. There is no way anybody for $2 a month could dispose of the yard waste that's being brought to us. And I've seen it there, cars and trucks full of it, and people appreciative of that. So, and Peggy points out, well, why didn't you ask people? Well, I have talked to people, and I go down to the yard waste and see people coming and going all the time, and they tell me what they like and don't like. And it's, although I would agree on extremely large projects, if you're doing a $10 million community center or a $5 million swimming pool or some large number, I think it's appropriate then to have a referendum. Let people tell you whether they think it's worth their taxes to pay for this. But surely on this one, I don't think $2 a month is an extreme amount of money. I think everybody that does yard work and brings yard waste down here will certainly realize that $2 a month, they couldn't possibly get rid of it for anywhere near that amount. And I think when you share the numbers with them, and they certainly know the popularity of the program, I think the majority of people in Ottawa would understand that some small fee is justified for that. And that would continue the program going. I would also add that there are other ways of doing it. And one way that I think the city council should pursue and at least examine is what the city of Streeter does. The city of Streeter bids out their garbage collection service to anybody that wants to bid, usually to a larger company. They currently have Waste Management. And for that bid, which can be tailored to suit your city and what you think your needs are, they collect garbage, recycling, and yard waste at your doorstep. And they charge a monthly fee, which the city collects and passes on to Waste Management. Currently, from the numbers I've received from Streeter, they actually pay less for that service in Streeter than an Ottawa resident currently pays for just garbage and recycling. The reason that is because you buy in bulk. So with that garbage service can get the whole city, he can lower his price because he's getting every customer in that city. So that's the advantage to that system. Potentially, I think that could be work for Ottawa if the city council wants to go that way. We could write up a contract, copy a lot of what Streeter has, add anything we might want to change, put it out for bid, and we could have garbage, recycling, and yard waste picked up at your doorstep for no more than you're paying currently for just your garbage and recycling. If that works out, if we go that way, we could potentially at that point eliminate this $2 fee, and you'd just be paying for your yard waste included in this monthly charge that you pay for garbage and recycling. At a cost no more, possibly less than what you're paying now just for garbage and recycling. There's good things with that. One is you don't have to put it in your car and drive it down to the yard waste bins. It's picked up at your doorstep. It's also self-policing in that one of the problems with the system we have, and everybody had with the system, is you can sneak in there in the dead of night and you can throw your garbage in there or your lumber, or if you're a lawn recycling service, lawn care service, which you're currently prohibited from using our yard waste dumpsters because you're charging a fee to dispose of that. They, on occasion, sneak down there and dump their stuff in there because it's cheaper for them. It's cheaper for them to give it to us to pay nothing than take it out where they're supposed to. In fact, one of those companies was just charged last week for doing that when they were caught. But the idea of it, that all is eliminated when it's picked up at your doorstep. Just like your garbage now, if you put a TV out there, the garbage man leaves it sitting at your curb. You put a couch out there, if you haven't made arrangements, it sits at your curb. You put garbage in your yard waste or lumber, it sits there because you haven't followed the rules. So that's a great advantage of it. So I would suggest the council look into that and potentially come up with some ways to bid it, see what the bids are, and see if we want to go that way. And I believe some people in Ottawa think that's a great way to do it, and some people may not. It kind of depends on what that bid price would be. But until then, that's going to take a few months. You got to do a lot of discussion with that. Until then, this was the way we could put it in, continue the service we're doing now, charge a nominal fee, and if we decide we want to change it in the future and find a better way, we can always do that. And so I suggest this council pass that and continue the service as it is temporarily.
Any other comments? I'd just like to add that that's the second most unsolicited comment I get is about the yard waste drop-off. The first is people saying how good the town looks, and the second is what a great program. And we make a lot of decisions regarding raising and lowering rates. We raise water rates, sewer, wastewater treatment plant rates. Sometimes we get rid of rates. We got rid of our city sticker. You don't have to pay $10 anymore to put a city sticker on your car. If we did have it, it'd probably be $25 or $35 by now. And we also expand services. We've made policy changes on what we'll cover as far as sewer lines, sewer mains, water mains, for example. Until 5 or 6 years ago, if you had a break in your water main between the Buffalo box and the main out, or your service between the Buffalo box and the main out in the street, you had to pay for it. And I personally know that costs about $3,500 because it happened to me before I was mayor. And in fact, we had to shut half of the north side of town down because half of the valves didn't work, and it was a big all-day production. In the meantime, I've got a backhoe there and a couple guys here. Now, if that happens to a citizen, they pay $0. The city picks it up. So that doesn't apply to everybody, but it does apply to some people, and it adds up. So, we don't take, votes on all those little things, and, we don't solicit public opinion on those little things. Some of it is just we learn from experience. But I think that this is a very, very successful program. The use speaks for itself, and it is absolutely incredible. And the last thing I'll say is, one of the comments I got was when I was down there myself unloading, and somebody said, this is the best idea that crazy mayor's ever had. Well, first of all, they didn't know I was the mayor, and really it wasn't my idea, but, but I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyway, that's all my comments. Anything else? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Baxter that a resolution authorizing the execution of an engineering services agreement between the City of Ottawa and Renwick and Associates Incorporated for the 2014 street maintenance project be received and placed on file for public inspection.
Is there a second to the motion? Last, any discussion?
This is an engineering agreement for doing asphalt streets this year. It's the exact same cost and price that we agreed with them for last year.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Baxter that the bid from Reese Construction Company in the amount of $70,259 even for the proposed Glover Street widening project be accepted, and the mayor and city clerk be authorized to execute the contract.
Is there a second? Commissioner Awesome, any discussion?
This project is over near Ottawa Pavilion, and as you all are aware, over the last several years, Ottawa Pavilion has put several $1 million in expanding their project and the services they have over there. As a result of that, parking has become a problem in that area, and we're trying to alleviate it somewhat by widening this street, which will provide 13 additional parking spaces on Ottawa Pavilion side, which should help them and anybody else that wants to park in that area. It would also widen the street and curb and gutter it on the south side of the street, which is currently an open ditch, so it would actually help the street, which needs work, and it would help the neighborhoods there to provide them a curb. In addition to that, I've had discussions with Ottawa Pavilion, and because they're benefiting from this, they have agreed to contribute $30,000 towards the cost of this project.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Commissioner Baxter that the city clerk be authorized to advertise for bids for the 2014 spray patching program. Bids will be received until Friday, May 16, 2014 at 10 o'clock a.m.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll
This
call.
program,
Go ahead.
I might as well comment on them all. As you know, we've been talking with Bob Scholl in Public Works about potentially buying some type of spray patcher that the city would own and use, because we do spray patching quite a bit, and I think it's a good idea to do that. And we've been going along those lines, but unfortunately, even if we ordered one today, it would be several weeks, if not months, before one could be delivered. So in order to try to bind over some of the potholes and rough patches of the street, we need to contract out spray patching, at least in the beginning of this year, try to fix up some of those streets. And then potentially later in the year, if we agree to, we'll buy a spray patcher, and once we own that, we'll continue that until all the streets that need that done.
Any other comment? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. Dave, anything for the council tonight?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Keith, anything for the council? Don?
I do not, thanks.
Okay. Go to the mayor's part of the agenda.
We have the report of the police chief for the month of April. Squad car calls, 1,451. Arrest, 549. Prisoners, 1. Sent to state institutions, 4. Sent to the county jail, 18. And sent to juvenile probation, 5. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of police chief Brent A. Rolson for the month of April 2014 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We have the report of the registrar for the month of April. There were 21 birth certificates issued and 34 death certificates. Certified copies were issued with fees totaling $2,017. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of registrar Shelley L. Monks for the month of April 2014 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second? Commissioner Less, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Less.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of the Parking Administration Department showing fines collected of $550, $11.20 by CPI, and $15 by Johnson, Mitchell, and Schneider, all for the month of April 2014, be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Les, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We have the report of the building official for the month of April. There were 12 building permits issued with fees totaling $2,038. Total number of building inspections, 43. There was 1 demolition permit for $100, 5 sign permits for $190, 5 pool permits for $150, 17 fence permits for $850, 1 tree care permit for $200, 27 general contractor licenses issued for $2,700, 19 electrical licenses renewed for $1,900, 6 new electrical licenses issued for $600, 14 electrical permits for $550, the total number of on-site electrical inspections, 16. We had 13 people take our electrical exam for $650, 3 plumbing permits, which were included in the building permit fees. Total number of on-site plumbing inspections, 16. And an ordinance enforcement officer did a total of 180 inspections, for a total of permits and licenses of 110, with fees collected of $9,928. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of building official Michael J. Sutphin for the month of April 2014 be received and placed on file.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Baxter, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of the sidewalk program showing 2 participants in the amount of $1,087.50 for the month of April 2014 be approved and paid for from the general corporate fund.
Is there a second? Les, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that an ordinance amending Chapter 22, Section 22-164 of the Municipal Code of the City of Ottawa, LaSalle County, Illinois, regarding the adoption of the 2014 National Electrical Code be passed and approved.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Awesome, any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to know if this here was brought to us by the Electrical Commission or the Building Inspector. I'd like to know why we didn't get a copy of it so we could actually take a look at it.
Are you making a motion to place it on, to
I
table
would have
it?
a place it on file right now or
Table it?
table it.
That's fine.
I'd like to have a copy of it, and I'd like to know if the recommendation came from the Electrical Commission itself. Because I know that they're there, and I see that we're gonna appoint another one, and I'd like to have them go through it. You know, sometimes there's changes that need to be made, that Ottawa doesn't exactly coincide with the national agreement. There's other things that we need to do, but I'd just like to know if our Electrical Commission went actually through it and checked it out.
Do you know that,
The
Dave?
answer is yes, they have. This is a recommendation from the Electrical Commission, and we have a list of exceptions that we previously have in our municipal ordinances, exceptions against the electrical code for things that we want specifically. And they came and recommended to the council that this be adopted. The actual code book is about 3 inches thick,
Right.
and they're adopting the new book. And, yeah.
And the former exceptions still apply?
Yes.
Because they're already in our code book. Yeah.
All right.
Well, now that I know the Electrical Commission did look at it, I have no problem with it. But I want to make sure that they did.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution appointing Monty Ricky, term to expire February 2015, to the Electrical Commission be adopted.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Awesome, any discussion? Roll call.
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that a resolution authorizing the execution of an annexation agreement between the City of Ottawa and the Conservation Foundation regarding Dayton Bluffs be received and placed on file for public inspection. Be it further moved, a public hearing be set for this annexation agreement for Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014, at 7:00 p.m. in council chambers.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Les, any discussion? We talked about this in the past. This is the agreement between the city and the Conservation Foundation for the 252-acre tract of land along the Fox River, just downstream from the Interstate 80 bridge. It provides pretty much the arrangement for the next 20 years between the city and the foundation. The foundation basically leases the property to the city for $1 a year. The city will make it available to the public. accessible, put in signage, and agree to commit a certain number of dollars per year, or services, or volunteer hours, or donations, or whatever, to help maintain it. For the first 3 years, the foundation will pretty much get into shape, taking out the invasive species, taking the farmland, or the area that's still farmland, and putting it back into prairie or initial tree planting for additional expansion of the forest. And I think that, and as part of the proposal, the property would be annexed into the city. So we're also setting this for a public hearing for public comment regarding the annexation of the property. Any other comments? Motions to place it on file? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the report of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on Thursday, April 17, 2014, considering a side yard setback variance request to construct a garage from Chris Redding for property located at 434 Christie Street, be received and placed on file. Be it further moved, the council concur with the recommendation of the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the side yard setback variance be granted, and the follow-up ordinance be passed and approved.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Baxter, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
We're going to combine 10 and 11 on the agenda. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the request for variances from Nathan and Nora Bima for property located at 1626 West Main Street and Robert and Kathleen Agostinelli for property located at 422 Approved Street both be received and referred to the Zoning Board of Appeals for review and recommendation.
Is there a second to the motion? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the request for a fundraiser from the Illinois Valley Building Trades Council to hold their annual Dollars Against Diabetes Dad's Day on Saturday, June 14, 2014, from 8 o'clock a.m. until 12 o'clock p.m. at the intersection of Norris Drive and Route 23 be approved.
Is there a second? Commissioner Awesome, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor. Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the request for a fundraiser from the Ottawa American Legion Auxiliary Number 33 to hold its annual Poppy Days on Thursday, May 22nd and Friday, May 23rd, 2014 at the intersection of Norris Drive and Route 23 be approved.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that the request for a fundraiser from the Ottawa Kiwanis Club to hold their annual Peanut Days on Friday, September 12th, Saturday, September 13th, Friday, September 26th, and Saturday, September 27th, 2014, at the intersections of Norris Drive and Route 23 and Route 23 and Stevenson Road, all be approved.
Is there a second? Commissioner Eichelkraut, any discussion? Roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. I have no other business?
Moved by Mayor Eschbach that this regular meeting be adjourned.
Is there a second? Commissioner Baxter, roll call?
Awesome.
Aye.
Eichelkraut.
Aye.
Les.
Aye.
Baxter.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye.
That is a lot of peanuts.